Hey gardeners, welcome back to Alaska. Have you guys ever wondered why some people seem to grow the perfect seedlings indoors while yours just flop? Maybe you've tried starting seeds before, but they ended up leggy, weak, or they didn't even sprout. Well, today I'm going to show you how I build a DIY indoor seed starting setup that's cheap, simple, and works. Probably better than a lot of those fancy kits out there. So here's the kicker. There's one tiny mistake that almost everyone makes that could ruin your whole setup, and I'll reveal it in just a minute. So stick around because by the end of this, you'll have everything you need to grow strong, healthy plants indoors. No green thumb required. So why bother with this at all? Seed starting indoors gives you a massive head start on the growing season up here in Alaska. Our growing season is so short because we're in zone 4 and we're so far north that if you don't start plants indoors, it will be very challenging to get to the days to mature that are required for that plant, whether it be vegetables or flowers. Starting your own seeds indoors is also a great alternative to going to the greenhouse and only having the options that they've decided to start in their greenhouse and for you to buy. When I go to the greenhouse, I never see the flower varieties I'm interested in. Plus, you risk introducing pests or disease from the greenhouse. But here's the thing, seeds are picky. They need the right light, the right temperature, and the right space to thrive. So you're only going to save money if you start seeds indoors the right way. This is my setup. Everyone's setup will look a little bit different based off of what you already own that you can reuse for a seed starting setup. I had this Costco shelving unit already, so that's what I used. It's 4 feet by 2 feet, but whatever you have that's close or that suits your scale. I am just a hobby flower farmer, so I'm really not planning on starting much more than what will fit on 3 of these shelves. At this stage, you're probably pretty familiar with the items that you see in this video. You'll need the basic seed starting tray. I have these black ones from Bootstrap Farmer, but you can use just inexpensive ones from Lowe's to get up and running. I also have these shop lights. I had a couple to begin with, and I bought some more from Costco. They were only $25 for a pack of 2, so that was very affordable. You'll want at least 2 shop lights per shelf if you have a shelves as big as mine, which are 4 feet by 2 feet. These shelves will hold 4 of these 1020 black trays. I have 2 started right now, and I'm leaving room for 2 more to go on this shelf. My next tip, and this may seem obvious for some, is to make sure that you are using a seed starting mix in your trays. Don't use dirt from outside. Make sure if you can't buy it at the store that you make it yourself. I make my own seed starting mix. This is a blend of coconut coir and perlite and vermiculite. It's extremely simple and inexpensive to make it yourself, but it's not necessary. After you plant your seeds, these are the next 2 items that you will want. I cover my seeds with a light layer of vermiculite to help with moisture and to control the algae growth as they are on these shelves for quite a few weeks. After I put the vermiculite on top of the seeds, I don't use a watering can. I'll use this compression sprayer because it gives a nice fine mist and it won't dislodge your seeds from their location or float them to the top. Once you've lightly sprayed the tops of your seeds, now it's time to bottom water. So here's when your watering can comes in useful. I just lift up my trays and put 1 to 2 inches of water underneath. This way, everything is bottom watered, it stays moist, and it's a very controlled environment. One of the most important things you can do to get your seeds started off right is to make sure the lights are appropriately distanced from your starts. When I first start with the domes to keep my seeds humid, the lights have to go up higher, and that's because the height of my dome, you can see it is pretty tall here. Once the domes come off, that is after the seeds have germinated and I can see the first set of leaves coming up, I take off the domes and I will lower the lights 2 to 3 inches above the top of the tray. If your lights are too far away, your plants will stretch, and that is part of the reason why you're getting those leggy and weak starts. If you have a timer that you use for your Christmas lights, now's a great time to reuse that. I have all of my lights daisy chained together on the seed starting shelf unit, and I will put them all on the same timer. Your seeds will need 12 to 16 hours of daylight a day, and so if you don't have them in the greenhouse and you have them indoors, you are responsible for that daylight, and that is what's coming from the shop lights. Remember that mistake I mentioned? The mistake is that most people put their light source too far away and they don't use a fan. These fans are only $6 on Amazon. You'll need a couple of them if you have this big of a setup. One fan, a minimum of one fan per shelf. This will provide the wind disturbance that keeps your starts nice and stocky and short so they can focus on root development. If you don't have wind disturbance and if your lights are too far away, they will just stretch upward and get really leggy and thin. And when you go to put them outside, they can't handle the wind or the natural environment. And sometimes, most of the time, you have to start back over from scratch. So there you go, a DIY indoor seed starting setup that's affordable, easy, and sets you up for a killer garden this summer. Try it out, tweak it to fit your space, and let me know how it goes. If you like this video, make sure and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.